The Riley and Kimmy Show, recording this at Mount Dora Lake Collecticon. Big event. George Perez is here. And,
where are you?
Yeah. You know, George, where is everybody?
Well, it's still early. We haven't opened yet.
See, that's the key. We're recording this ahead of time because George was graceful and said, we can talk on the Riley and Kimmy Show a little bit. And, George, thank you for coming on the show, first of all.
Oh, no problem. Hey,
we see each other a lot, don't we?
I know we do.
Yeah, we do.
Every Florida function. Cool.
Speaking of Sirens, it's coming to a conclusion, right? It's coming out. It's coming to an end.
I look forward to be able to refer to that book in the past tense. I am right now doing the cleanup on pages 28 and 29, and next week I'll be working on the last page of Sirens, issue 6. Of course, the book is over a year and a half late, but again, most people understand because of my well-documented issues regarding my eyesight, and when already they are wooing me with other projects, and
really?
There's one project we're going to be discussing, but of course I'm not free to discuss it because there's nothing finalized. But I probably will be going back to penciling rather than writing, penciling, and inking because the eyes can only do so much now, and if I'm only producing a page a week, if I'm inking, that's not really conducive to producing a timely comic. So I'll go back to where I started, back to penciling. Thankfully, I'm in a financial situation where I don't have to work if I don't want to. So it'd be kind of nice just to draw for the sheer love of it, but without the pressure of trying to do too much beyond my limitations.
I'm curious, back when you were with Marvel and DC, let's say in the late 70s, early 80s, what was your page rate back then? How many? What were you doing per day?
At the beginning, when I first started, it was $30 a page for pencils. I don't know what the inking rate was because I didn't ink at that point. But inking is always less than the penciling rate. So yeah, so you made up for lack of major income by sheer volume. In those days, I was doing 3 to 3.5 books a month. So of course that brought up the revenue. I remember they used to have in the checks that were given up by the companies, they said not good for over $1,500. So obviously the checks were divided, and I said, "Gosh, I'm looking for forward to the day where they would have to send me 2 checks because I'd gone beyond $1,500 any given week." And now, I charge more for a sketch than I earn for a full page of pencils in those days, and it's considered a bargain now. But the last time I had an actual page rate over at Marvel and DC, it exceeded more than 10 times that amount.
And before I let you go, I've tried to find this answer. Do you have any idea, counting the independent comic books, how many comic books you have done something with, either writing, inking, penciling? I
used to keep a list, but after a while it was just too burdensome to try to keep up with. Particularly since I also try to help many independent publishers by providing covers, sometimes providing inks or other things for them. So of course that added to my index, and it's rather large. I mean, anytime people think, oh my God, you were so incredibly prolific, I say, yeah, but look at John Byrne, who was working the same time I was. John probably did 3 times as much work as I did, because when I was doing 1 book a month, he was doing 3. I mean, John was incredibly fast, and he inked his own work many times. He wrote his own work, so I'm a shadow when it comes to productivity. When it comes to someone like John, and even people like Dan Jurgens, who's also been very prolific.
And one last one, do the Columbo thing, the last question here is...
One more.
One more thing. Deathstroke. You are the co-father of Deathstroke. Batman movie being announced with Ben Affleck directing, and supposedly that is the villain, will be Deathstroke. Any thoughts, any feelings like maybe somebody George would like to see play this character? I mean, it's got to be overwhelming, or not overwhelming, but flattering that this is the guy.
Well, it's flattering. I mean, it's kind of blunted by the fact that Deathstroke's been used in so many other places. I mean, I think I earned more revenue on Deathstroke because it was used in video games than any of the cinematic interpretations. And quite frankly, I mean, I don't watch any of the movies, so I've never seen Arrow, so I never saw Deathstroke there, even though I've spoken to Manuel Bennett because he wanted input on the character. I said, well, the character's not really probably the same as I drew. And when I heard about it, Marv Wolfman, I think, summed it up succinctly when he said when he saw Deathstroke on a T-shirt, the image of the mask, which I never knew would ever become iconic, the one-eyed mask. And he said, when he looked at it, only one word came into his mind: ka-ching.
Jeez.
Because, of course, any character that was created from the Titans, even though I never watch a movie, I mean, the paychecks, the royalty checks I receive for those characters have been overwhelming. The fact that I have not been I've been in a situation where I told Stanley at one point, I'm living a freelancer's dream, that I'm earning more in royalties in these past few years than I ever earned drawing comics. So that, I mean, it's a great feeling, and the fact that I can now draw comics, the sheer love of it, there's no pressure. You know, thanks to all this, my wife and I are debt-free. We have money in the bank, and of course a revenue that keeps on coming. So I can sit down, and the idea of whatever my next project is, of not worrying about how much they pay me. Usually they pay me, I ask them, just pay me enough to cover my insurance. And I can just enjoy myself. And that's a great, great feeling at my age, not being constantly oppressed by, you know, the pressure of, oh my God, every single page I do will have to pay a bill. Most of the pages I'm drawing now, the bills have been paid, so they're just, you know, I sometimes forget to notate the direct deposit I get on those for the work that I do in comics, because it's, in the long run, that's the least amount of income I receive, is for actually drawing comics.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. And it's going to continue with Batman, that movie coming out, and you know, we'll see Deathstroke alive on the big screen.
Yes, I mean, with Deathstroke and all the video games where they use obviously the Titans, with Raven and Starfire, and Nightwing, and Cyborg, of course, and Cyborg being a member of Justice League, he's another character that, of course, that has become a big revenue earner since DC has very kindly made great efforts to make Cyborg the preeminent African-American superhero at DC Comics. So it's like and I think a lot of that thanks to Jeff Johns, who's always been a Titans fan. And it's always nice to have people who are fans of yours being in positions of power.
Well, George, I'm going to let you get ready for the con. It's about to start here. I'm going to tell you something I told to Marv Wolfman. You both, the two of you, helped me when I was a kid in some very dark times and got me through that, because I had a kind of a rough childhood, but you guys inspired me to write and also to try to draw and also to dream, and you both did. Thank you very much.
We're glad we were there for you, and glad that after so many years in the industry, that to hear that people, you know, not only enjoyed the comics or inspired by the comics, and it's always gratifying to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
The Riley and Kimmy Show.